saying it's a great battle of the sexes. Do women want sex as much as men do?
Yes, I'm sure that they do, but I think women want quality sex, whereas men go for quantity.
Quantity. Why do you think that's the case?
Because men tend to think with their male parts, when women tend to think with their minds.
So we shouldn't be talking about brains maybe here at all. How about that? Stand up, please. Do women want sex as much as men?
Definitely, and more.
And more? Why? How about you?
All the time. Yeah, I have a problem with my boyfriend.
You have a problem with your boyfriend because he can't keep up with you?
No, he just got to get up early in the morning. No, I get through about 4. He got to go to work at 6.
That's a big problem. Wait a second. Stand up for a second. Would you ask your boyfriend if you were in the mood?
And I'd teach him, too, if he couldn't do it right.
Can women be dominant when it comes to sex? Can you go after a guy? Have you ever done it? Anybody out here? Would you ever ask a guy for a date or ask him to go out? What?
No, for sex.
Yeah,
We're talking about sex.
You know, if I like him a lot and I think he's attractive, and he's kind of afraid because a lot of guys feel inferior when they're going out to a bar and they say, oh, I'm not going to go up to her because she's not going to want to be with me. I'll go up to him.
Men are afraid.
Let me return. You say that men are dumb when it comes to sex. Why?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, Kelly?
First of all, men don't know how to make sex. They don't know how to make love. And men are dependent on women sexually. Women have the same sex drive. They want sex as much as men, but they're not dependent on them. Men are like slavish. They're perverted. They're kinky.
Well, how come we're not? Wait a second. If we're meant to be slaves, how come all of us are not your slaves?
Give me time.
If women are superior...
I have not yet established that you like women. Ray, can I introduce
I love women. Let me just get to her point, though. Why are men dumb when it comes to sex?
Well, men are dumb because they don't understand.
I'm not that dumb, I'll tell you that.
They don't understand that women want sex as much as they do.
You think women want sex as much as men?
At least as much or more. The readers of Playgirl write to me all the time and tell me what they want to do. And they talk about how interested they are. They love men. They love sex. They love looking at men. We have a lot of readers out there.
But I hear complaints from men all the time who say that women use sex to get what they want from men.
I think that men use sex to get what they want from women, and that men also use their position, the dominant position that they have taken over by this nonsense that because there is a difference between men and women, that means that men are superior. There is a difference, but men are not superior to women.
I think that what women want is love. A note of good sense.
And if men are loving towards them, then women will want to have sex with them, and they want to make love with them. But a man can't beat a woman up during the day and go out with other women other than his wife and come home at night and think that she's going to want to get in bed with him. It just doesn't work that way.
Possibly, Gloria, your husband's sexual technique was too brutal, so what do you think about his getting beaten up? But let's talk about ordinary sex. The fact is
that it's a common
observation of human society that just as you say, men are more immediately aroused by women. They're aroused by pictures. Before I was married, I never had a one-night stand in which a woman did not want more emotional intimacy over and above the one-night stand.
I think my fear,
because men don't function that way. Men are perfectly content to have one-night stands.
Well, then men are very stupid.
And it makes biological
because emotions
sense
are
why that
incredibly
is
rewarding.
so.
Why does it make biological sense?
Because a man's genes are capable of being reproduced thousands of times. It's in his genes' interest to say, scatter your seed as widely, as frequently as possible every 48 hours. A woman, on the other hand, quiet. A woman, on the other hand, only has quiet.
Run away.
Quiet,
Kelly.
A woman only has an opportunity to reproduce about 30 times in her lifetime. Every act of intercourse is fraught with significance. She must be very careful. Her sexual arousal is cued by correlates of reliability.
Is this why we see more men cheating on their wives than we see women?
Yes.
Is this why we see female prostitutes and not too many male prostitutes?
Exactly.
Richard, I think that what he has said is demeaning to men. I think there are men out there who want love, who want commitment, who want responsibility, and I think that they should be embarrassed by men like these
you're
who
an
only talk
embarrassment
about
to anybody who begins to agree with you.
I've got a wife and 2 children. I'm the only normal person around here.
Would you guys stand up, please? We have some women here in this row who are wearing very tiny mini skirts. Can you get a good shot of these women, please? Now, all right. You're all right there. Okay. Why do you dress like this? Do men react to you differently when you dress like this? Let's say if you just wear a loose-fitting robe or something.
I see no difference in dressing anyway. It's my style and I like it.
But you're all in leather here today, and yet I'm the one that's sweating. Do you find that men tend to treat you differently, though? Do they treat you better? Do they give you more attention when you dress like this? Do you dress for yourself, or do you dress for a man?
For myself.
Dress for yourself. And this is the way you want to dress because you're comfortable wearing white leather gloves in a hot studio?
I like it.
I don't believe it for a minute. How about down here?
Richard, wait.
Yes.
I dress sexy because that way you have men at your mercy.
Wait,
you get them
Richard.
sexually aroused and you lead them around like a bull by the
Richard,
nose.
there's nothing wrong with
The question is not
Nancy,
who's
yes.
better and
There's
who's
nothing-
worse. The
excuse me.
question is whether there's a
Excuse me,
difference.
could you shut up
And there's
for a moment?
obviously a difference. Men are
There
aroused
is nothing
by
wrong
visual
with
cues
getting
like
attention
dress.
for being
Women are
sexy.
aroused by
I know, but men
personality.
don't walk around, let's say, with
Cocky.
arrows pointing to their crotch.
There are men who
Women-
walk around in tight jeans.
Wait a second. Just look right up here. Look at Kelly. She's dressed like this. We don't have these men wearing G-strings up here.
Men get what they want. They already have what they want. They have what they want. Men have all the money. Women have to exploit sexuality to get money
But it's
and
not the
power.
same thing. Kelly
Okay,
is...
but Kelly is on television and she's dressing to make a very specific point.
But these women down here, too.
When you have Chippendales dancers on television, don't they dress? Get it
They're for
right?
fags. They're for
Okay, they're making a point. She's making a point. There is nothing wrong with being sexual, with dressing sexy to get attention, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, and it doesn't.
Can any of
And
you
that doesn't
explain the
mean that-
phenomenon of the Chippendales in terms of the differences in the sexes?
To homosexuals, probably. I
What?
suspect they appeal to homosexuals.
Oh, nonsense.
They appeal to homosexuals.
Chippendales provide a sort of a kinky thrill.
Shock, Richard. But women can and do dress to please themselves, and they're not always concerned about what a man is going to say about how they look. They like to please themselves. They also take into account how other people will react to them. If they don't, they're psychopaths. They do care about how other people will react to them, but they do dress primarily to please themselves, and I'm proud of these women that they dare to dress to please themselves.
Well, but
Okay,
one of the
Gloria,
things that
I love your
pleases
hair.
women is pleasing men and vice versa. I mean, Gloria, you talk as if the sexes were locked in this mortal struggle, but the truth is that men and women work very well together, and they don't work at all when they're apart.
I know.
Yeah, that's true. During the break, Kelly and I solved the whole problem. I've got her cigar now, and I can't disclose how that occurred.
All right. You have a comment. I'm sure that has some sort of innuendo attached to it.
I wanted to say something to Kelly. That's okay if you want to fight for women, but I think the way you look is a disgrace to women.
Why?
Because she doesn't look presentable. She looks like a prostitute.
I always dress sexy when I'm in the public eye.
I don't
for
think
a
that looks
simple
sexy.
reason that I want
You
to make...
think you look sexy now? What was that over here?
I want to make a point.
Well, what is it if it's not sexy?
Droopy.
She's droopy.
I would like to see yours. Why am I in 300 Why am I in 300 men's magazines? Why do they pay me to appear in all the men's magazines?
Well, wait a
Why
second.
do they pay me $4,000 a week to show
How
my
would these
body in
guys?
the States?
You guys are sitting there next to her where she's half dressed.
I am making a point.
How do you react to the
I
way
am
that?
making a point.
There's
Fully
not an
dressed.
erection on the panel.
Kelly, speak for yourself.
All right, I've got to take a break right now. We'll be right back in just a moment. Stay with us.
No. I forgot what I said. You say...
Forgot what you said. Oh. All right, let me go back here then. Sit down, please. Go ahead.
Hi, I want to know about your wife. How do you treat her? You're up here criticizing women. How do you treat your
I'm
wife?
not criticizing women. I'm saying that men and women are different.
Are you
I treat
married?
Yes, I'm married and 2 children.
All right. How do you treat your wife differently, let's say, than you would treat another...
Well, for one thing, I have sex with her.
Right. Okay, but in terms of...
Sure she really
You don't make love, somebody said over here. You only have sex.
Well, we only got a few seconds on TV.
Would you feel threatened if, let's say, your wife made more money than you did?
Well, my wife is certainly more intelligent than I am. She's a mathematician.
Well, how do you explain that in terms of...
Let me just point out, Mike Levin requested his wife be present on this show. Mike Levin requested his wife be present on this show, and if so, she would have been able to explain for herself.
She's very smart. We get along very well. However, the emotional currents in our marriage, I suppose, are like the emotional currents in most marriages.
Richard, a man of quality is not threatened by a woman for equality. And I think that we are going to move ahead economically. We are going to be leaders economically. We're going to get those top-paying jobs.
All right.
And I don't care whether they're threatened or not, because we have the ability. We haven't had the opportunity, but we are going to get those jobs.
What though, and we're starting to have these findings, what though if medical science and biology tells us that there are basic differences that are biological between men and women? Should the law recognize them? Shouldn't the society recognize them? Shouldn't men and women recognize them?
Yes, women
let me
should.
point out,
Biology
Richard, that's
is
not
not
a
destiny. We have a right to equal protection under the law. The law should be blind to differences if there are any, and that's what we want. It's equal protection under the law. That's what we don't have, but that's what we will have with the passage of the Equal Rights Amendment, which we're going to win in our lifetime.
Here we have another political speech. What Gloria Allred is forgetting is equality is a wonderful thing, but if men and women are different, then giving them equality is not going to make them the same.
Equality
All
of
right. Well, we
responsibility
have different
is very
points of view up there. People who feel that women are superior, people who feel that men are superior, people who feel that they should be equal. You're going to appear next week, Nancy, in New York, signing copies of Playboy magazine. Where is that going to be?
Playboy at 2 Rector Street. That's downtown at noon.
Okay. Well,
And I look forward to seeing a lot of people there.
I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here at the Newport Center Mall in Jersey City for a great battle of the sexes. Right now, we're going back to the Channel 9 newsroom, but we'll be back in just